my mom was a hustler. Like, she was probably one of the biggest drug dealers in the projects. And she had trust issues. But I remember always having a house full of people. So me and my brother was our right and left hand. Y'all got to watch when I leave. But I still got to have a 9 to 5. So I feel like we kind of never really got to be kids. So at school, I could be a kid. But at home, now I'm on the clock. We was learning shit we shouldn't have been learning at 9, 10 years old. And having to watch doors and having things in your house. You got to watch them to make sure they ain't stealing from her. It's like, I'm little. What I'm going to do against this big old hot man you got sleep on our couch? I like school. It was a getaway for me. Because at home was so chaotic. My mom was super aggressive. She was mean as hell. I call my mom Mommy Dearest. Have you ever seen the movie Mommy Dearest?
I've never seen the movie, but I always hear it. So now you letting me know what it means.
That was my mama. Like, she didn't play. We was scrubbing walls with toothbrushes, cleaning the carpet with our hands, and she didn't play. And my mom was Muslim, so she was super strict. Like, holidays, birthdays, that kind of stuff we didn't do in our household. So going to school was like a different world for me. I could be me at school, but I don't know. I played around a lot at school. I skipped all the freaking time. When I did go to class, I was being the class clown. Always in trouble. I told you earlier that I had to go back a year later to even graduate, but I love school. I didn't mind going back. My family used to be like, you gonna go back to the same school? That's embarrassing. No, all my friends are there. What? We gonna turn up. I get to go to prom again. I went to prom again with my little brother and my little cousin. Like, it was lit for me. But outside of school, I think reality set in for me. Like, you grown. You got to be grown, like, instantly after high school. My mom was kind of struggling. She had divorced her husband. My oldest brother went to the feds. So now it's like, you in charge. You got to carry the family on your back type shit. So it was hard.
How many of y'all was it? As far as siblings, because I know your cousin
4
was
in my
close to y'all
household.
too.
Yeah.
So one of your cousins I thought was your brother too.
Frank.
Yeah, I thought he was your brother
Everybody
too.
used to think Frank and Lorraine was our cousins. They went to school from our house ever since elementary school up into high school.
So they were in your household too, because I would imagine they were in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Did they help clean up and stuff too?
Oh, I had to. My mama didn't play that.
So yeah. So once your brother, you were how old when your brother went to the
18.
Was you and your brother real close?
Super close.
Before we get into that, how was that knowing that he was about to go to the Fed?
Ooh, traumatic. Like, probably my first time. Well, no, I take that back. That was my first time feeling or stressed or depression, I would say. That was my first time. He had got shot probably 2 years before that. So that would be my first. But when he went to prison, it was like, I felt like he died pretty much. And then they moved him so far away. I was enrolled in Penn Valley, and I was working at KFC. And I remember just basically working to send him checks, because in my mind, I'm thinking about movies. If he ain't got no money, they gonna have him in there doing weird stuff. Like, I gotta send money to him. I gotta keep money on his books. I gotta write him. I gotta go see him. Like, it was chaotic. He did 4.5 years.
Okay. And how much older than you is he?
6 years.
Sheesh.
Yeah, 6 years older than me.
So he was kind of like, you didn't have a pops in the household, right?
Nope.
Was he?
My mom's husband was in prison, so he was the man.
And your father?
He had a whole nother family.
So you never seen him? You never met him?
My father?
Yeah.
Yeah, I met my father. Me and my oldest brother got the same dad. I met my father when I was 6. Growing up, I don't know what I thought. At first, I didn't even ask about a dad. I was so attached to my mom.
Mm-hmm.
But my brother used to tell me, you know, Twine from 12th Street? Antoine?
Mm-hmm.
My brother used to tell me that his dad was my dad as a joke thing. So I used to go along with that until I actually met my real dad. But then I started wondering, like, well, if we have the same daddy, why I don't never get to go? Like, my brother was going with my daddy every weekend. I never got to go. But now being older, and my mom explained it to me before she passed, like, she wasn't comfortable with me going around him or his wife. She was super strict on molestation or getting raped. So she wasn't comfortable with her daughter being with a man outside of her presence. When I did finally get to go with my dad, she made her best friend go with us to sit in and like watch me with my daddy.
Yeah.
So it was weird.
So as far as your relationship with your dad, do you put that against him? Did you blame him? Or was it more?
No, I didn't, because once I start coming around and getting to know him and how my mom interact with him, I would say now, looking back, my mom probably was like a bitter baby mama. He had got married. He had a wife. His wife had kids. Like, he was kind of that nigga. We was in a project. She was bitter.
Yeah.
So she was keeping our kids away. When he did let us go over his house or we spend the night, like, he would buy us all this stuff. I remember my mom calling the police, like he would kidnap us. And it was just, she was bitter.
Actually. Did you take to your, the one that was in prison, did you take to him? Or did y'all have to go see him? And stuff
My
like
stepdad,
your stepdad,
love him to death, still to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Did you have brothers and sisters on the other side? I know you said his wife had kids. Did you?
None of his wife's kids are his biological kids, but we claim siblings still to this day.
Yeah.
Yep.
So losing your brother was basically like losing the dad.
Mm-hmm.
Basically. What kind of morals did he put in you? Tying that in with what your mama was putting in you.
He was kind of like the mini me to my mama. So they were both stern. Like, you couldn't cry around them. Like, you had to be tough. Like, I remember when he got home from jail and I was just reckless, your typical girl running with the other girls. He like, you wasn't supposed to be like this. I was trying to mold you to be a lawyer or somebody working in the jail for when I get caught up. I'm like, hold on,
Somebody
nigga, what?
For when I get
Hold
caught
on, you were trying to mold me into this? Like, so yeah, he was super strict on me just as much as her. I remember when I first started my menstrual cycle, he like, Mama whoop her, she being fast. And I'm like, what? He was so serious. Like, he like, only way she could be starting this is if she was having sex. So she need a whooping. I was 16. And he meant whoop her. So he was super. He was probably worse than my mama, but he was my brother, so I took his kind of softer than hers.
So he had to be, when he found out you was dating, was you hiding all that from him and her, or you was
from him? She knew from him, and when he found out, oh my God, he was the worst ever. Critiqued everything from the way the man looked. He was kind of heavy set. You like fat boys, and he's a mama's boy. He can't even do nothing for you. Oh my God, it was terrible. He ran the poor boy off.
So he did it around them?
Mm-hmm. He's still that type of person right now. He tried to intimidate my husband still to this day.
But it didn't scare you away from dating?
No. I probably used to do the same thing to him, to be honest. His girlfriends did not like me.
That's fucked up.
It is.
Going back to the household though, what are some of the things that like really fucked their mind up about what y'all had to do? Especially the things that you were mainly running away from to get to school. Let me hurry up and get the fuck to school. You probably wanted to do extra hours in school.
My mom was a hustler. Like, she was probably one of the biggest drug dealers in the projects. And she had trust issues. But I remember always having a house full of people. So me and my brother was our right and left hand. Y'all gotta watch when I leave, but I still gotta have a 9 to 5. So I feel like we kind of never really got to be kids. So at school, I could be a kid, but at home, now I'm on the clock. We was learning shit we shouldn't have been learning at 9, 10 years old. And having to watch doors and having things in your house, you got to watch them to make sure they ain't stealing from her. It's like, I'm little. What I'm going to do against this big old high man you got sleep on our couch? But, yeah, it was rough. We used to fight a lot, like the adults. So.
Did it translate, like when you see your friends at school or you go over their houses or you just kicking it with them and they doing certain things, did you look at them like, what you on? Like, because the way your mama is raising you and teach you to be, most kids probably ain't being raised that way. So certain things you may see them do, you be like, that's weird.
I think I used to chop it up too because it was quote unquote structure in other households. It was a mom and a dad there. So I'm like, okay, they living different or play by different rules because they got their daddy there. But outside of that, I kind of felt like at the time, outside of doing the whole drug thing, like we lit. And we didn't get to go really many places. You had to come to my house to hang out with us.
Okay.
So.
Did you end up getting into the streets for yourself?
A little bit. Like, probably, my brother was in the jail probably like 8 months after doing that KFC shit. It was like, yeah, nah. I'm gonna go to these clubs. I can make some fast money running the streets. So, yeah, a little bit, but.
Oh, you was at the same KFC with the booze?
No.
Okay.
But I was working when he was working. I was at the one in Kansas off 7th Street.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't work at that one.
So,
shut up, the booze.
You probably, so you think like a lot of that life, the way you grew up in it probably kept you from attaching to it so hard because you got into it for a little bit and then you didn't stick with it like that. No, I mean like trauma from it. Like, man, you got the crackhead sitting on the couch and stuff. You don't want.
I think I kind of thought that's how everybody was living.
Okay.
We was in the projects.
Yeah.
Everybody had a role. Either you was a crackhead, you was selling crack, or you got the mama that worked 9 to 5. Everybody got to play their part to make it keep going. So that's how my mind was set up.
So it's just normal living. When you graduated from high school, was you know, I was at my daughter's graduation. I'm like, man, they don't have a, what's it called? Boys to Men song or that. What was the song they used to?
I don't remember.
The one that would make us real sad once it started playing.
The End of the Road?
End of the Road.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, they don't even have that no more. I ain't even know emotion.
They didn't have none of that?
They had just like some type of orchestra or something like that. I don't know. She graduated from Oak Park.
Okay. Yeah. My little sister graduated from there.
Was it scary going into the world as somebody who tried to, because I thought I was going to get held back too. But I ended up finagling some things and I ended up graduating on time or whatever. But I was also the type that like, shit, I'll be with my boys.
Yeah, school fun.
I even did an extra year at Votech.
I never got to go to Votech.
To have more school. I went my senior year and I had to do the second year after my senior year.
Okay.
But yeah, I know I was like I'm cool. Like if I could
Yeah,
just stay back with my boys, but at the same time I graduated on
Yeah.
time. So for you to go out, was it scary for you to actually when you actually graduated? Like, okay. Real life about to start, and I don't have school to run to get away from home no more.
I don't think I was scared because by me doing that extra year, I was only going half days. And I was kind of already getting in the process of going to Penn Valley. And I was trying to work. So it was like, I really doing it. And my mama still was strict as hell. She wasn't trying to make me really be grown, but she wanted me to be responsible. So I was still at home. I was chilling for the most part till he went to jail. And it's like, oh, shit. Now I got to be grown.
Did you and your mother relationship ever start to change?
As far as...
I don't know if you could do this, but a lot of people, it seemed like with as strict as your mom was, you probably couldn't even have like real conversations with her about like how you feeling about doing
Hell
this
no,
certain
she
stuff
didn't
like
let us
that.
do. Well, probably when she got diagnosed with cancer, she was a little bit more soft than she had ever been. And we talked a lot of stuff, but not so much as from growing up. My oldest brother, he'll call her out on some shit. I'm like this because,
You said he'll do what?
call her out on a lot of
call her out
shit.
on some shit.
But she was a Scorpio. She was stern. Like, I ain't did nothing. So it was, to me, a waste of time. I ain't about to argue with you about what you did. And I'm a firm believer in your story is your story. So you did what was best for you or what you see fit. But the way I see it wasn't cool. So I felt like it really wouldn't have justified nothing because she wasn't going to take accountability or be like, oh, yeah, you was right. So.
What about you and your brother? Do y'all get to have those real conversations?
Oh, no. He like her. We argue. We just got into it probably three weeks ago and we ain't talked since. He don't take accountability and I kind of feel like he got mommy issues. So he one of those people that be like, if you say something to him and being a woman, nah, you can't say that to me. I'm a man. So I'm like, you a womanizer. He don't take nothing I say or I'm being disrespectful or I don't know. So we argue a lot.
We'll get back to accountability. Beautiful Struggle. You got a group called Beautiful Struggle.
Yeah.
What is that about?
Battling depression. So I learned that, well, when my mom moved on to hospice with her cancer, I thought that's when I was really coping with it, dealing with it. She had been in a remission for like 2 years before she died. And I think in my mind, I was kind of hopeful. She had stage 4, but I had never seen nobody live 2.5 years with stage 4 cancer. So I was kind of like, God might pull through with this one. But in the back of my mind, watching her, you see the change, like she dying every day. But when she died, I was kind of just like here, like numb. A lot of stuff I really don't even remember. And I thought I was coping with it the whole time. Come to find out, she died in 2013. 2015, I got in a wreck to where I ran into somebody head on. I had blacked out. And then I knew something wasn't right, but I was battling depression bad. Like, couldn't get out of bed, wasn't eating. My dad took my boys because I wasn't sending them to school. Like, I was literally just there. And I tried to take some pills to overdose. And my youngest son, well, he was the youngest son at the time, found me and called his dad. And his dad rushed me to the hospital or whatever. And that was a learning experience for me to learn how to start processing and dealing with emotions, like really processing and dealing with it, because I thought I was dealing with it the whole time she was in hospice, and come to find out I never really was. I was just voiding it out because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking she gonna be cool or she gonna come through.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I don't like to be dark, and I feel like what you say or what you put out there is what it is. So when people say things like, I'm broke, yeah, you gonna be broke. Nah, I just ain't got it right now. Let me figure something out. So with me saying depression or stress, I don't want it to be a darkness tied to it. It's just a beautiful struggle. It's a part of life
What makes it beautiful though?
because it's a lesson in every struggle. And you gonna come out every time. I'm still here. I'm winning. That's beautiful. Yeah.
And I when I first seen it, I connected to it because I called the scar that my auntie gave me a beautiful scar or whatever. It hurt at the time, but once it healed or whatever, I started looking at it like, yeah, I got through that. That's my little
Yeah,
wound or whatever.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at life. When we get hurt and when we let those things heal and they become wounds. I mean, they become scars. Those wounds become scars. We could just look at them like, I got over that.
Yeah.
I survived, and I can get through anything. And that's why one of my favorite sayings when somebody say, "Dang, how you going?" or "How I'm gonna get through this?" or "How I seen monsters before. I've defeated these monsters before. I've defeated certain monsters before." Shout out Sue Surf. I got that from the battle rapper Sue Surf, and it always stuck with me. I seen monsters before. You said your son found you, your youngest son.
Yeah.
You were just laid out. Like
I remember taking the pills and then I went to go take a bath. And I don't know what made me get out of the tub, but I got out. And I just remember being woozy and I collapsed. But when I woke up, I was at the hospital. His dad told me he called him on FaceTime. Like, look at mama. She ain't saying nothing. She ain't moving. And he rushed to our house and got me. Coincidentally, my stepsister was at the hospital. She had my dad there with her. And they cussing my husband out. Well, he wasn't my husband at the time. Like, what you do to her? Because they like, she damn near clinging to life. My dad just seen me and went off on him. You trying to kill my daughter? So he had to explain to him what the little he knew. But everybody like, nah, she ain't did that. She wouldn't do that. But at the time, I'm thinking, this gonna solve everything. Ain't nobody gonna have to worry about me or my kids. We gonna be cool. I don't want to live without my mama. It's hard doing this shit on my own. She supposed to be here to help me with these kids. It was just like a quick fix. So I thought.
And we don't think about it in the other sense, though. I don't want to live without my mama. You think your kids want to live without their mama?
Exactly.
And then on the other side of the hurt you feeling and the things you going through, though it may be lighter, it still affects the person you're in a relationship with, because it's like, damn, what am I doing that she even want to leave me? Am I not doing enough?
Yeah.
You know, do you remember what he was going through at that time?
No. I don't even know.
You never talked to him about
No.
it? Well, that could be weighing. That could still be heavy on his head.
Probably.
I don't know, but it's probably a discussion y'all should have one, because you never know what he's feeling about at that time. You know what I'm saying? And I know I've even had those run-ins with myself, and the only thing that kept me from actually going through with it was my oldest daughter. And I couldn't imagine, like, I called myself, like, I'm like, bro, you would have been so fucked up to leave her in this.
Man.
Because she tried that. She tried in December. And had I not been here to help her through that, she'd be gone. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm glad you didn't actually go through
me
with
too.
it. We were talking.
That's the beautiful part about it.
When in that, before I move on, in that group, do the other people who are going through stuff in there, does it help you move through what you were going through a little better?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Being vocal about my own personal issues and seeing the response I get it from a lot of people that don't want to speak on theirs or not comfortable letting out certain stuff is very beneficial for me. I feel like now I got a purpose
Yeah.
outside of just being a mom, a wife, a sister. Like all these people that really don't know me, like waiting on me to say something or needing me for something. So yeah, it make me feel good.
Do you feel like I guess it's kind of, I don't know if it's off to say that. Do you think these things were meant to happen, or
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everything meant to happen. We just don't always know why.
I always be wondering like if like because they say because I struggle with the okay we got will, but it's written. But if we got will, how is it already written? So I'm like, okay, maybe it's like he giving us like multiple options. Like you got like 5 doors. If you go through this door, this line of things is gonna happen. If you go through this,
It's funny, I used to do hella bad shit and be like, well, he already knew I was about to do that shit anyway, so.
That's how you find it. That's how you justify it.
Yeah.
Just, have you heard any story? And I'm not telling you to tell the stories, but have you heard any stories that ever made you be like, shit, what I was going through wasn't.
No, because again, I feel like everybody different and got their different stories. What I don't like is when you have people that ain't really never been through a traumatic situation. I used to get my aunt used to say stuff to me like, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. You need to change your attitude. You got them kids to live for. And I used to try to tell them, like, when you in that dark space, ain't nobody there but you. Them kids don't exist. You don't exist. I'm by myself. I got to move for me. And without me, them kids ain't non-existent. So you saying waking up on the wrong side of the bed is easier said than done. And you get a lot of people that speak on stuff that ain't been through it. So it's like, your point ain't valid. You don't know. So, just because it ain't as bad or as personal to me, I don't know what you going through over there.
Yeah.
Yours could be really serious. And you don't get the strength I got. So that could be lightweight for me, and it could be a breaking point for you.
For sure.
So, yeah, nah, I ain't heard nothing that I'd be like, oh, nah, you a pussy. So.
You a pussy. You a pussy is crazy. Going through the relationship you in now or whatever. You talked about accountability earlier. What are some of the things you hold yourself accountable for?
Oh, my mouth and my attitude. Again, we in a household with just my mom. So this is what I see. Kids mimic what they see and take it into our adult life. Now, as an adult, you get the choice to pick and choose what you gonna take from that. But I'm used to seeing my mom hold the weight. Even when my stepdad there, he was in prison, my mom was the man, per se. So now I try to let him lead without me being like, nah, I'm the leader. I been doing this. I'm independent. Nah, you got married to be provided and protected. Let him do his thing. At first, I struggled with it. You can't lead me into a wall. What you always say ain't the right way. And so now I know I have to take accountability and also compromise with a lot of stuff that's new to both of us to make it work. So.
Now that compromise is one of my biggest words with the relationship.
It's a lot of compromising.
And we both have to give up something.
Yep.
Somebody had a question for me at work, and they were asking like, do you believe in 50-50 relationships?
Impossible.
Yeah. And why do you say impossible before I say it?
I feel impossible because y'all bring different things to the relationship, and it's never going to be equal. That's impossible to be 50-50. Sometimes you could bring stuff that I can't bring. So how is that going to average out? You got one up on me now. And I feel like if we a team and we working together, then it's going to be balanced, not necessarily 50-50. You could do X, Y, Z, and I'm going to handle this over here, and we're going to come together. I feel like the 50-50 thing is tagged with social media and people's perceptions on what relationships should look like. My husband can't be the provider and protector and go out and work 12 hours, and I'm expecting him to take off of work, go to the boys' school, or go do this and go. No, we got to compromise and figure some stuff out. Make it work for us. Everybody don't work the same. You got some men that at home watching the kid while the wife is out.
Don't make it wrong. Yeah, that ain't wrong.
No, that ain't wrong. We making it work for our household. So
I tend to use, because like you said, the stuff you put out in the, you know what I'm saying, into the universe. So it's 100 for me. You giving 100% no matter what you're doing. So if you, and we may be both folding clothes. And I get done with this end, I get done with these baskets, and you still got like 5 baskets over there. 50-50 says I should just quit. I'm done.
Yeah.
100 says I go over there and help you. Just because you didn't complete that 50% doesn't mean you're not giving 100. Give 100% in whatever you're doing.
Yep.
I may be faster than you. I may be, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, if you're giving 10% in this field, do 100 in that 10%.
Yep.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's how, like when you say put stuff in the air and stuff like that, I don't want to say it's impossible. 50-50 is crazy. Because I'm not going to help you do anything past what I'm supposed to do.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because now it's in my mind. This is all I got to do. Once I complete this, I'm done. But then you think about it like, well, shoot, that's my partner. I can't see the nigga over there struggling.
Yeah.
So I got to help. Now we ain't 50-50 no more. So, I don't know. I think that might could work with people who built their relationships like it's a business agreement.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like when you in it and really trying to build a foundation and build up, it ain't gonna be 50-50. It's impossible.
Because you can't grow from a business agreement type relationship in the same household. And like, I don't think it can be successful within trying to love in that relationship. Now, the business may thrive.
That's it.
But y'all being in the same house looking at each other, ain't gonna thrive because there's no growth from here.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
I get tired of going to the gym, trying to work on getting some muscles and seeing the same thing not,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now I got to do different exercises in order for this to grow. And I
Yep.
feel like in a relationship, we got to do different exercises. Yep. Last year, I probably didn't want to be the one who had to drive the kids to school or whatever, but what her job does for her now, maybe I got to sacrifice what I'm doing to make the, you know what I'm saying, Joe?
Yeah.
Compromise and being able to talk it out versus like shutting them down as soon as they say something. No, that ain't what I do.
That used to be me. Had to take accountability for that. Girl, shut your mouth and quit saying it. I'm a woman. What I'm doing in the barbershop? You got these boys, you go to the barbershop. He like, I gotta go to work. Well, they hair won't be cut.
That's crazy. Cause if I get in an accident and I'm paralyzed or whatever, she has to cut the grass, or it won't. Or we're gonna get kicked out of that house.
Yeah.
You got to do something. So you want to wait till that happens to learn to do that, or you want to just kind of be out there peeping me, seeing how I'm doing it, or learning the shit in case you have to do it.
Yeah.
So all that shit to me is being 100 in. You may not even actually be touching the line more right now, but you looking.
Yeah.
You're saying, okay, I might have to do this shit one day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
That's you backing me.
Facts.
To me. Earlier you were talking about being argumentative, having to get your point across or whatever. But getting your point across, does that suffice to you?
Nah. It's an ego thing. That's all it is.
Still to this day, are you like that?
I'm working on it. It depends on probably the time in the month and the conversation. But I'm definitely working hard on it. Yeah.
Have you done therapy within your relationship? Yeah. Does that help? I wouldn't know. I'm asking.
It was helping, but since COVID, everybody wants to do like virtual therapy or phone sessions. And I feel like I just don't be able to get out or have the interaction I need to have. So, nah, it ain't really been doing justice.
And was that couples or just?
It was personal at first, but he came in on a few different sessions with me. Yeah.
What has therapy helped you realize about yourself? That you kind of was like, oh, I didn't know that.
That I hold a lot of stuff in. I be thinking in my mind that I deal with stuff like, oh, I'm cool about it. Me just knowing, but I actually don't deal and process with what happened or how it's going to affect me. Therapy opened my eyes to that.
What you doing with that now?
As
far as dealing and processing, are you actually doing it or?
Oh, yeah, I do a lot of stuff. Like, a lot of my depression was coming from my money management skills. I was a reckless spender. But now I know, and I think about, okay, do you want to go to brunch or do you need to be paying Netflix? Before, fuck Netflix. I'm going to link my phone to this TV. We can watch whatever. It'd be cool. But now I know to be in a different space and not go off the deep end. Nah, you got to do what you got to do. Brunch going to be there a few more times, sis. Go pay the bill. Or yeah. No, I'll be working and doing little odd ins and outs to make it beneficial for me.
Yeah. What else is therapeutic for you?
Shopping. I know, right?
That's most women, though.
No, but really, I love to read. Like, reading and researching is real therapeutic for me. Like, learning different stuff. Like, I told you before, my mom was Muslim, but the rest of our family was Christian. So we went to the church here and there with my grandma, but a lot of stuff I didn't really know or take heed to as a kid. But now I'm reading, or I was reading a book called Bible and the Shovel.
Bible and a Shovel?
It's about how Christians have so many different denominations and different views, but they all coming from this one book. So I'm like, this is pretty interesting. Like, this opened my eyes to some whole new stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Reading kind of drift me off and take me somewhere else in a calm place. So.
You do actual reading or audiobooks?
Oh, I hate audio.
Why you hate audio?
Oh, I hate it so much. I just signed up to take some online classes and all our books are online. No, I need to feel the book, go through the pages, fold the page down and come back to it. I'm old school. I cannot get with the audio.
I need a good audio because, I guess that's just because how I read too. Like when I was in school, I can read the words, but I didn't understand how y'all knew exactly how they were feeling and how they were, like y'all can read it how
you hear me say read and take me somewhere else.
So yeah, I can't do it.
I'll be in the whole book laying in the bed with the lady like, whoa.
So you feel like you actually there when you...
Yes.
See, I didn't get like that till somebody gave me a book, probably like... it was probably like 2011 or something. He was just like, bro, read something that you're like really into.
I was about to say because you wasn't into it.
He had to give me some King Pen.
Some hood stuff.
Yeah, some hood stuff. And I'm like, damn, I feel like I can see the girl, how they was describing her and all of that. And it made me start liking reading. But at the same time, I still like my words the words start getting backwards for me and stuff like that. So it's hard for me. So audio works for me. And I'm at a job where I got to stay consistently moving. And the best time for me to take in information is at that job. So I'm knocking out two birds in one stone. They paying me to take in information, but they don't know they paying me for it. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. You paying me. Even like working, I look at it like you're paying me to exercise right now.
Yeah, no, reading is my go-to. I hop in the tub and pull out a book in 2.2 seconds. Before I know it, I'm like, damn, I'd have been in here an hour and a half.
You a wine person?
Not really. No. And that's another thing. When my mom died, I instantly went to drinking. And it was terrible. Like, I was at work drinking. So now I don't drink as much.
How'd you detach from the bottle, though? Because it seems like a very hard thing to do.
I was trauma bonded with somebody. Her daughter had cancer. And, like, when she would go through something, a few weeks later, my mom would go through it. And her daughter passed probably 2 months or 3 months before my mom. And like that whole winter, we were going so hard. And I remember looking at her like, she drunk. Like, this is unacceptable drunk. And it clicked for me like, I don't want to be out here like this no more. And I just stopped. Like, I started working 2 jobs to kind of occupy my time because I tell people like idle time is not nobody's friend.
Yeah.
Make you do the worst of the worst. So I just started working. And before I knew it, it was like, I ain't even thinking about that. Or when I did start back drinking, it was like, that's disgusting. So,
what's the best message you've received from Beautiful Struggle? Like, people, I know with this platform, I receive certain messages from people who have been on this platform that people have sent them. Like, oh, you thank you for being so bold or
yeah,
courageous.
I have people that tell me all the time, thank you for saying what I want to say, but can't say. And sometimes I'll go live with them and they'll have people around to kind of hear our conversations. Like, I can't say it in these words, but if they hear you say it and I'll be like, see, that's how I feel, then they gonna get it without me actually saying it to them. So I'm like, that's cool. I could be the person to speak for you.
How often does that work?
I haven't went live in a long time. Just being trying to do so much other stuff. I feel bad about it too, though. But it worked a lot. Even without me going live or being as active on the page, certain people would still hit me up in my inbox like, hey, just checking on you. I want to let you know I was having a bad day or woo, woo, woo. And we say, well, do this or try this. I'm doing this new diet and they got me refreshed. Try this. So the people still stay interactive, even if I'm not. So that'd be beneficial too.
Earlier, you talked about people not going through what you've been through and trying to give you information or whatever, or trying to tell you how to deal with it. Let's say you at your job and a girl's kind of going through, or anybody's going through what you've been through or something close to it. What do you say to them that people didn't know to say to you? Or how do you deal with it?
My first go-to with people dealing with like depression is feel how you gonna feel. You gotta embrace them feelings, but you also gotta know it's a wrong way to do it and a right way to do it. So if you want to be sad, but steer clear of the anger part of that sadness that's going to come with it. It's okay to cry and feel how you going to feel, but try not to act out on that feeling because it's not always the right way. So I don't know. I'm big on feelings. Feel how you going to feel, and don't let nobody tell you different.
Did you, I don't want to say this wrong, IVF?
IVF, yeah.
VF. What exactly is that?
In vitro fertilization.
Yeah.
So it's for women who have a hard time or who can't conceive naturally for whatever reason. For me, I don't have any fallopian tubes. I got my tubes tied when my youngest son was a year old. He'll be 15 in November. So when he was approaching 10, I'm like, I want to try for a girl. Lack of doing research, I just ran to go get my tubes untied because I knew a few people who went to get their tubes untied and had babies after. Dumbest thing I ever did. $10,000 waste of time. Mm-hmm. I ended up getting pregnant back to back, but they both were tubal pregnancies that made me lose both of my fallopian tubes. And the doctor that removed the last tube, I remember her telling me, like, you will never be able to have a kid again. Never mentioned anything about IVF. I never knew what IVF is. Mm-hmm. People don't talk about that in our community. Like, what? So I was talking to a lady I work with. I was working at CVS Pharmacy. And she was telling me, oh, my sister had that issue, but she pregnant with her set of twins. And I'm thinking in my mind, like, how's she pregnant if she ain't got no tubes?
Right.
And she explained the process to me. So with IVF, basically, they take the woman's egg and the man's sperm and put it together. And then once it becomes an embryo, then they implant it back into the woman's uterus for her to have a successful pregnancy. So they bypass the whole fallopian tube and the sperm meeting the egg stage for a woman to be able to conceive. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I ended up doing that. Long story short, expensive as hell. $30,000 later, I got a 2-year-old that I'm reconsidering.
Little girl?
Boy. So with IVF, they let you do, of course, it's an extra fee. They let you do genetic testing to see if you got boys or girls. God just wanted me to be a boy mom.
It's funny because we had, I don't know if you remember Dominique Haynes.
Mm-hmm.
Dominique Haynes was, he wanted a girl for the longest time, and he couldn't get a girl, and he just said, God just hates me. He
no,
just keep
for real,
giving me boys
that's
all the
how
time.
I feel. I promise you. It was so traumatic, and it's funny because I don't know how much you know, but you know the gender of the kid come from the males.
I didn't know that.
My husband got 4 daughters. I'm like, nigga, you can't even do the one thing I need you to do.
So you just knew you was going to have a girl.
Yes, I knew it. Nope, our boys.
Yeah.
Our boys. And like, I actually did 3 cycles of IVF. So I did it to where they pulled my eggs and mixed with the sperm 3 different times. So a total of, we probably got close to 40 babies. Out of those 40, probably 37 of them was boys. The other ones were girls, but they will not put the embryo back if it's like Down syndrome or anything like that. All of our girls, we got 4 or 5, however many we had, something was wrong with all of them. So, yeah.
What y'all got, 7 altogether?
9.
You still want more?
8. 8 is 8. 4 girls, 4 boys.
You still want more?
I go back and forth if I want to try it again, but I'm pretty set on it's going to be a boy. And this 2-year-old we got is a different breed. I don't remember none of this stuff with my oldest. Like, he takes over our whole household. Literally.
How old is your oldest?
16.
Girl?
Boy.
How old is his girl?
oldest is 19. Girl.
So,
all 4 of his
when I said
own
y'all,
daughters.
I was just saying.
Yeah.
So, and y'all been married how long?
Since 2021.
Or together how long?
Yeah, 17 years. On and off.
Oh, so you came in when she was about to. I was just going to ask
was
was it harder to deal with the little girls?
It wasn't at first. Once they got older and started getting into their own ways and stuff, then the attitudes came. But no, when they were younger, we was cool.
So it was easy for you to be. Mm-hmm. So they basically look at you as mom too. You know, okay. would you like to leave us marked out?
If I could say one thing, I would say if you want to do it bad enough, you could do it. Like me being told I wasn't gonna have kids no more was like a challenge for me. And I meant I was gonna get pregnant one way or another. And when I tell you I went to search jobs that cover IVF and did all this, like it was a struggle, but I got it done. So if you really put your mind to it and want to do it, you could get it done. Don't let nobody tell you different.
I appreciate you coming on here, opening up with your
Thank you for
testimony.
having me.
I hope you go through with starting your platform.
I am.
You seem to be a natural at this. The goal is to leave a lasting imprint on their minds and their hearts. We pray you've been indelibly marked.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it.